Hey guys, joining here with this beautiful dog. I'm not gonna name it because I don't know what the name's gonna be. But anyways, welcome back to another part of Modern Play. So I have no time for the island. We're just gonna get right into it, shall we? Yeah. All right, let's go. We get so wrapped up in conversation, standing close, smell of cheap beer mingling between them, heads bowed together as they attempt to sign with sweating plastic cups in their hands, that they don't notice the next band taking stage. When the rear cuts out, Lance lifts his head, noting the rush of people moving forward. Then the first chords come blaring through the speakers, and he turns to Keith telling it's starting, but Keith already knows. He chugs the rest of his beer, eyes wide and bright and sparkling as he crushes the plastic cup. He cocks a smirk at Lance, pointedly eyeing at his half-full cup before lifting his gaze. Charged sparking in those dark depths. The look goes straight through him, shot through the heart, inside splattering the pavement behind him. Breath knocked from lungs. We get the knees. Gibbons the only thing he keeps him standing is the spark of fire that ignites his chest. The need to rise to the bait, accept the challenge. So stupid. It's not a real challenge. It just indicating that Lance should finish his beer. But it's set up in such a way that Lance can't refuse. Can't just roll his eyes and take his time. Feeling still lifting his cup to his lips with an answering smirk and chugging the lukewarm cheap beer. He fears that if Key looks at him like that, there's not a single thing he wouldn't do. Key is dangerous. He has too much power over him. Just look in a smirk and Lance will willingly bend over backwards, please him. He's fallen. He knows he is. But he sure as heck doesn't want to help back up. If this means he gets more heat, more of those callous hands, more glimpses of that smile, gets to taste those soft plump lips, gets to find out what that cute little piercing feels like in his mouth, then yeah, Lance is gonna nose dive right the heck into that void. Sayonara world, he's gone. He barely managed to pull the empty cup from his lips before Keith is grabbing his wrist, dragging him forward. He summons after him, lagging at his eagerness, even as the sound is drowned out. They pass by a trash can to toss the cups, before Keith drags Lance to the crowd. He's merciless, shoving his way through people without much grace. Leaving Lance to mutter apologizes in his wake. He only stops when they're recently submerged, close enough to the stage that the crowd is too thick to possibly push any further. There is not much hesitation as his hand slips from Lance's wrist to his hand, squeezing his fingers. Almost seems like an afterthought, and as Lance turns to look at it, he doesn't think Keith has even realized he's doing it. His head is tilted back, eyes wide as they lock on the stage, flickering between the band members, taking everything in. The tips are parted slightly, giving him this open look of wondrous awe and unbridled excitement. The sun glints off his lip piercing, drawing Lance's eye, and he wonders, not for the first time, what that would feel like if he kissed them. The music is loud on the floor, so close to the stage and beneath the speakers. He can feel it shaking through his core, and he takes a moment to imagine what it would be like to only experience the music that way. How different it would be. He can't help but feel like it would be lose a lot of impact, but perhaps that's just because he's never known anything different. His eyes trail back to Geet again. Doesn't seem to mind. In fact, he looks more excited than Lance has ever seen him. Eyes locked onto the stage, body rocking with the driving beat, head bobbing and sending loose hairs flying. He's a lot less stiff now than he was during Volbeat, and he has a feeling it has to do with the fact that he actually knows this band. The most surprisingly thing, however, is how Keith's lips are moving. Lance can't tell if he's actually singing, but if he is, his voice is easily drowned out. A shame, really. But for all he can tell, it looks like he's pretty spot on with the words. He gives a light tug in Keith's head, just enough that Keith turns to look at him, lips stopping their movement as Lance screams, "Do you actually know all the words?" He makes his face as open and honest as he can. trying not to sound condescending. Either succeeds or Keith just knows it well enough to know that isn't the case because he smiles, small and sheepish, shoulders rising a little and chin tilted downward. I listened to them a lot in middle school and high school before I lost my hearing. I remember most of their older songs well enough to match the words with the beat. Lance found himself grinning, chuckling softly to himself. You were a little edgelord, weren't you? Keith rolls his eyes, but there's a small smile on his lips as he shoves Lance's arm. He rocks away, laughing, and surprised when Keith tugs him back, lifting his hand only to wrap an arm around his waist. He has no shame as his hand slips beneath the hem of his tank, soft leather of his gloves on his skin, and strong fingers wrapping firmly around his hip bone. He tisses, but only out of surprise and in an attempt to suppress a shoulder. When he glances at Keith, he's already turned back to the stage. The pink stain his strapped cheekbones ruins his otherwise pristine image of nonchalance. Lance knows his fair share of Avenged Sevenfold's music, and he appreciates hearing them live, but he can't for the life of him keep his eyes off of Keith. Lance faces in the background as he gets too enraptured by the concert, so away with the vibrations that rumble through him. Eyes soak in everything, and Lance, he's okay with it. Okay with watching from the sidelines. He gets to watch Keith openly and without remorse. No worry that he'll be caught because honest Keith's too far gone to notice. Excited Keith isn't something he's ever seen. Not to this level. Not this bright and enthusiastic creature beside him. Body moving with the shifting tides of the music. Black hair flying. Eyes stacked wide and bright. A smile stretching his lips between words and verses. His pale skin glistens with sweat, broken only by the ink that Lance has personally put into his skin. His features, usually angled and hard, sharp and dangerous, are softened in his enthusiasm. He's beautiful. He's afro. He takes Lance's gosh-darn breath away. It didn't think angels were dressed in cut-up band shirts and black cargo shorts, with metal in their ears and ink marring their bodies. But here he is. Here's Keith, proving him wrong. Keith's so deep in the pool of the performance that Lance has next to none of his attention, despite hogging all of Lance's. But that's okay. It means he can watch, observe, commit to memory. And the whole time, he doesn't not once remove his arm from around Lance's waist. Yeah, that helps too. The song changes, and Keith stills, waiting for the next one. It starts slow, soft, a trill and trickle of a few notes. Keith's head tilts to the side, nose crinkling as his brow pinches. His eyes are on the stage, but Lance isn't sure he can really feel the soft notes being played. It's clear he's trying to figure it out. The puzzle is clear on his face, and it's one of the cutest things he's ever seen. Then the music starts up quickly, guitar and drums quick and hard, leaning heavily on the drums to drive forward. And Keith perks right the frick up. He straightens, grinning, head bobbing automatically, lips moving, free hand patting his tie like an afterthought. And Lance finds himself nodding along. He knows this one, lips curling to a small smile as he sings along. Keith doesn't seem to notice, too, and raptured in his own. As the chorus starts up, however, the lance slips out of his grip, sliding up behind him. He starts to lance, wraps around his middle, back going ramrod straight. And okay, oh my goodness. You should have known, he says, enjoying the melody quantity discourse. The prize of evil, he leans forward, hovering over Keith's shoulder. The torn out negative t-shirt leaves it up at his shoulder, as though to give him a taste and leaving him craving more. It gives him the peak of galaxy he's inked there, looking like it's gleaming from the tear in the skin. He decides to take a chance, push his luck, get that taste. And it hurt to know that you belong there, yeah. He did say, letting his lips caress the junction of his shoulder and neck his stings. He knows Keegan here. He's gonna make sure you feel him. Ooh. Everyone is singing at this point. Autumn voices cushioning the coming to the amps. Lance drags his lips up the side of Keith's neck, feeling a pleased warm bubble in his gut, and Keith leans his head to the side, holding him close. He can feel the way his breath hitches. The singing stops, letting the audience finish the line. As the crowd chants, and this is what the man says, "Your freaking nightmare!" And the people shouted, voices mingling into something chaotic and loud. Lance whispers it, moving along against Kate's ear, feeling the metal of his piercings cool against his lips. He finishes it by taking his lobe into his mouth, teeth lightly biting, teasing, gently tugging forward, letting go. So glad Keith's midrib is exposed because he can feel the goosebumps where his hands rest on his stomach. He leans back a little, pleased when Keith relaxes into him. That's how they fit like this. How comfortable and natural Keith feels his arms, back pressed to his chest. He's not sure he believes in soulmates or anything like that, but he'd be lying if he said he didn't feel like a puzzle piece snapping into place in his arms. Keith tilts his head back, small smirking place, shy around the edges. Lance gaze reluctantly flickers away from his face as he grins. I didn't know you knew their songs. He looks amused. Lance shrugs, feeling the drag of it against Keith's chest. I know a few. He turns back forward, but he doesn't move away. So Lance takes that as his cue to get comfortable. And he does. Spend a couple of songs like that, bodies rocking together, in sync in ways that Lance hadn't even really realized was possible. Especially with the erratic way people move to this type of music. He leans against him, not even suddenly. After a few cautionary movements to test boundaries without any repercussions, Lance lets his hands wander, fingers exploring Keith's stomach, his sides, rising up to the curve of his ribs, before dipping low to trace where his shorts hang low on his hips. Feel the defined abs that are seriously not bare, and idly play with the light trail of hair beneath his belly button. Keith's body reacts, muscles twitching and hips rolling, but he doesn't move away. If anything, his reactions are encouraging, and Lance knows he doesn't have the willpower to stop on his own. Mostly Keith just enjoys the concert. Hands have it out the drum rhythms, alternating between his thighs and Lance's hands, and basking under Lance's touching. And a few times Lance runs his nose along the curve of his neck, letting his lips trail along creamy skin as he mouths the words along his shoulders. Taste tattoo personally put there. Yeah, he doesn't seem to mind that either. If the tail of his head and the arch of his back are anything to go by. They don't get to stay like that nearly as long as Lance would like to. It's not long before the lead singer, Lance doesn't even know his name, is addressing the audience. He roused the crowd up, but Lance doesn't pay much attention. He's far too busy tracing the hand with Keith's shorts with a single nail and feeling the way his muscles roll beneath his touch. The guy on stage is pointing to spots in the audience, telling them to open up, create some havoc. Most pits, most mosh pits, most likely. One is close by. Open it up as people push away to form a circle. He might not know what the guy on stage is saying, but he stands at the side of the pit, forming, pulling a little away from him. Lance gives him a questioning look, and he just returns it with a sly smirk and an excited crinkle to his eyes that makes Lance's heart clench. The song starts up. People leak into the pit, and Keith drags Lance over to it. He doesn't go in. He has some self-respect. Thank you very much. He's not exactly a fan of being shoved around by a punch pump of sweaty dudes. Keith, on the other hand, has no problem with it. He drives into the pit, clashing with bodies like it's his job, his own body tight and rather with adrenaline. The music blares from the amps, vibrating across the stage and echoing beyond. Yeah, it feels his chest, feels it hung up his legs. The music's deafening, driving. He watches a lazy music grin on his face as Keith bites in the pit. It's an interesting phenomenon. They all rotate counterclockwise, clashing in the middle, being pushed out from the sides, shoving, gliding. Half of the dudes in there don't have shirts on. It's all bare flesh, shoving shoulders and flinging lips. Half the time they make eye contact before they hit. Ramming each other on purpose, he watches Keith tucks his shoulder, knocking several people outbounds in their surprise. He laughs at the pride on Keith's face, the spark of something primal, something that craved the fight, something that reveled in it, lived in it. Unlike most, Wolf flailed through the pit with little care. Key movements were calculated, fluid, all graceful. He danced through the mosh pit, Fabian seeking the fight, hit and retreat, prepared for the next. While his chop was swaying on either side of Lance, pushing away from pit's edges. He loses sight of Keith as the sun reaches its height and more join the pit. He thinks he catches a glimpse of dark hair between bodies. He's not certain. When the song comes to an end, it sweeps seamlessly into the next. Lance glances up at the stage for just a moment. When he looks back, he's pushing away through the crowd, elbowing his way past the buried people at the edge of the pit. He comes to a stop in front of him, and Lance started to see a thin trickle of blood seeping from his nose to his top lip. He doesn't seem to notice, eyes wide and crackling, with something Lance can't quite identify, but makes his insides squirm all the time. He is grinning from ear to ear, like a proud little puppy just fetched him a steak and not a frickin' bloody nose. Smirking, he taps the space under his nose. His smile deadens for a moment, brows firm before shooting upward in understanding. His tongue peeks out then, pink tips swiping at his upper lip before he snips, using his arm to wipe away the rest of the blood. And yeah, yeah, that really shouldn't have been as hot as it was. Hot in theory? Is that even possible? Well, he is here as living proof, so it must be. Took a novel to the face, he explains. Lance chuckles and doesn't quite realize that he's reaching out till his fingers are already making contact. He jolts a little, but doesn't pull back. Sylvia staring up at him with unreadably dark eyes, lips relaxing and parting in that way he does whenever he's surprised. Lance smiles, feeling a warm fondness bubble up his gut, filling his chest. Guiding his hand, his fingers cross over Keith's jaw, up to cup his cheek, fingertips finding their way into his hair. Get him back? He asks aloud because they're too close for him to really sign, and he doesn't want him away. Keith seems to get the gist of what he's saying, though. He nods, a smile twitching at the edge of his lips, eyes flashing with a satisfaction that has a spark of something dark and melting running through his core. His other hand reaches out, resting on Keith's side before running along his skin, coming to rest at his lower back. He can't see it right now, can't feel it, but knows there's a tattoo there. One of his eyes, one that he put there, permanently etched into Keith's skin, one of his marks, right below his palm. His thumb moves across Keith's cheekbone, moving down as he retracts his hand just a little, letting the digit lightly skim across his lips, idling on the middle, his piercing. God, he wants to know what that feels like. He wants to know what Keith feels like, what he tastes like. Then Keith's pushing for going up on his toes as one of his arms wraps around Lance's back, pulling them flush together. Lamb's thumb slips out of the way just in time for their lips to crash together, foreheads knocking and noses bumping. They pull apart, frozen as they stare at each other, mortification ribbon across Keith's features. His cheeks are stained with red, eyes wide. Lance tilts his head back and laughs. It bubbles out of him, light and gaiety. There'd been no room for embarrassment. Keith tried to kiss him. It sucked and barely counted as a kiss at all. But the fact remained that Keith tried to kiss him. When he looks back down, Keith smiles small and sheepish, gazing up at him through his lashes. How quickly he could go from predatory presence and measure eyes to vulnerable and soft. It simply isn't fair. Not at all. Lance's heart is weak. Leans forward, pushing the foreheads together, cupping his cheek again. Let's try it again, he says. Knows Keith can hear him. Knows he probably can't read his lips this close. But open, the sentiment is clear now as he leans in, close distance. Keith tilts his head, meeting him halfway, eyes fluttered shut. His lips are full and soft, with just a little resistance where the ring encircles his bottom. The hand behind him clenches, fingers fisting into the back of his head, The other hand finds its way into his hair, shredding through the strands at the back of his neck. Then pulls him close, sliding their bodies together, tilting his head to better capture his lips, again and again and again, pull and release, ebb and flow, kiss after kiss after kiss, until they blended together and couldn't be distinguished. It tastes salt and cheap beer and keep. Lance disciplined. Brett heavy pants to his nose. His chest is light and his gut is on fire, melted and melting at his core. His head is spinning, the pounding of his heart nearly drowning out the music blaring from the amps. Feels it more than he hears it. Feels it ricocheting through him, vibrating between them. Feels it alongside his pounding pulse. He can barely breathe, but he doesn't care because holy crap, holy heck, jeez. Forget about falling. He's drowning, drowning hard and fast. Do not call 911. Do not resuscitate. But he doesn't fully grasp the sensation of drowning until they pull back for air to find himself trapped by a pair of naked eyes, pupils blown wide and swirling with emotion that have the earth crumble away beneath him. Then he smiles, slow and sincere, shy and hopeful, with those reddened, simple, tempting lips, and the fish made to see is blown wide open. Oh gosh, there's a lot of things to unwrap this whole thing, but we're done with this part. But we're in the middle of the event sevenfold concerts. He listens to most casinos song to this event. I personally don't know about some of those songs because I'm not pretty at all now, to be honest with you. She says these, but they to their core about the music and then they feel about this the mosh pit. Yes, the mosh is very important when it comes to metal concerts. They always go with whatever they're doing, dancing and try to attack each other, but they're not trying to attack each other, okay? Because here they'll have to keep an eyes on the people or the moshers. Try not to and try to resist yourself so that you don't want to hurt yourself or try to rip out your shirt into a video. Should get ripped on, like and you had to deal with it. Sometimes they took the shirt off. Sometimes they stop and had to find it for you before someone else gets it. But anyways, we're on topic about this metal concert. That's the purpose of the metal concert there. It's the best part is the mosh pit. And he and Lance were there enjoying themselves concert, but the way they did that and that was and you noticed that he someone just punched him out. He has his bloody nose. It's okay, that was part of the concept, but we don't need to get something very harmful here, okay? I do not condone anything violence when it comes to concept. I cannot condone anything violence as a result of this video or me saying this to you. Okay? I cannot condone anything violence as a result of this video. Not to me, not to any personally, not to this video. No, okay? Alright, that's it for this part. I'll see you next part when I'm back in the snow, okay? Alright.